Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, hope you are all okay and doing well. I'm very happy actually to have you with me in this new course of English vocabulary. Today, inshallah, we are going to start the first class, starting with the first unit, of course, named Cramming for Success. The first unit is Cramming for Success, Study and Academic Work. The book for this course is English Vocabulary in Use, the advanced one by Michael McCarthy and Felicity Odell. This is the cover of the book. This is the cover of the book. It is English Vocabulary in Use, the advanced version, Michael McCarthy, Felicity Odell. Of course, this book is composed of many units, and the first unit to talk about today, inshallah, is Cramming for Success, Study and Academic Work. Let's start. Okay, it says here, Cramming for Success, Study and Academic Work. What's a cramming? Okay, cramming is when somebody, for example, studies hard for examinations or for something. So cram means study hard. Sometimes it means to prepare hastily for an exam. Okay, so before an exam, some students cram for it. So they study hard for it, even if you are a genius. What is a genius? A genius is somebody who has an unusually high level of intelligence. So those who have a very high level of intelligence are called genius. So before an exam, some students cram for it. They study hard for it. Even if you are a genius, you will have to do some revision. If the exam happens every year, you can revise by looking at past papers. Something can be memorized or learned off by heart, but rote learning is not sufficient or efficient for most subjects. It is also possible to use mnemonics. However, all things considered, the best idea is to bury yourself in your books and to study intensively until you know the subject inside out. So let's have a look on the new vocabulary here. Okay, cram, the first one, cram. Of course, new words are in bold, and that's why it's very easy for you as a student to have a look to the new words or the meaning of the new words here. They are numbered from 1 to 8 here. Okay, so cram, study in a very concentrated way for a short time. 2, genius, an exceptionally clever person. Do some revision. This is not difficult to understand. That's why we don't have any synonyms here, okay, or definitions. Past papers, exam papers from previous years. Okay, so if you are trying to study for an exam, for example, it is very important for you as a student to look for past papers. Okay, you need to have a look at past papers, which are exam papers from previous years. Okay, memorize or learn by heart is easy. Okay, if you learn something by heart, it means you learn it completely. Okay, good. Learn it. يعني in Arabic we say يحفظها عن ظهر قلب. Okay, rote learning, learning purely by repetition. If you repeat something, it means you learn it through rote learning. Rote learning, learn purely by repetition rather than by understanding, of course. Rote learning is not sufficient for most subjects. It's also possible to mnemonics. Okay, mnemonics, tricks that help you remember something. For example, so in Arabic we say فن الاستذكار. I think it's فن الاستذكار. This is mnemonics. It is mnemonics. Mnemonics in Arabic means فن الاستذكار. Like, for example, a word, a poem, a sentence, etc., that helps you remember something. Okay, so if a word helps you remember something, this is mnemonics. It is فن الاستذكار. However, all things considered, the best idea is to bury yourself in your books. It means study very hard or spend a maximum time studying. Okay, this is bury bury yourself in books or in your books. It means spend the maximum time studying and to study intensively until you know the subject inside out. Okay? Intensively, of course, in a very focused way. Intensively means in a very focused way. And to know the subject inside out means to know it completely. To know it completely. Okay, so I think the passage is very easy, especially when you have the meanings of bold words or new words here. Okay, let's go to B. This is so we are done with A now, study and exams. Okay, let's go to B, academic writing. We have composition, essay, assignment, project, portfolio, dissertation, thesis. So let's see the difference in definitions. Okay, composition could be just 50 to 100 words, often used for schoolwork. Say longer than a composition, more serious, hundreds or thousands of words. Assignment, a long essay, often part of a course, usually thousands of words. Project like an assignment, but emphasis on a student's own material and topic. Portfolio, a collection of individual pieces of work, may include drawings and other examples of creative work as well as writing. Dissertation, a long research-based work. Again, a long research-based work, perhaps 10 to 15,000 words for a degree or diploma. Thesis, a very long original research-based work, perhaps 80 to 100,000 words for a higher degree like PhD. So these are academic writings. Okay, we have composition, essay, assignment, project, portfolio. So you as a student need to learn them by heart, let me say, and the difference even. Okay, good. It is a good idea to start with a mind map when preparing an essay. Always write a first draft before writing up the final version. Your essay should be all your own work. Plagiarism is a very serious offense in colleges and universities. It is an increasing problem because it is so easy to cut and paste from materials available on the internet, and students have to sign a plagiarism form to say that the work they are handling in is all their own and that they acknowledge any sources they have used. There is usually a deadline. After the essay is submitted, it will be assessed and usually you can get feedback. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look on the difficult words here. It's a good idea to start with a mind map. Mind map is a mind map. It's a diagram that lays out ideas for a topic and how they are connected to one another. It's a mind map, okay? A diagram that lays out ideas for a topic and how they are connected to one another. Okay, the first draft, it's the rough revision. So if you are in the process of writing an article, for example, or an essay or something like that, the first thing is you just write down all the ideas and things that might pop up into your mind. And the first piece of writing you come up with is called the first draft. It is the first draft. I mean, after that, you can, correct grammar mistakes. You can correct ideas, omit or cross out irrelevant ideas. And this is called the second draft you are having is called the second draft, okay? And at the end of the day, you are going to have a final draft. But the first thing you write, okay, the first piece of paper we write about something is called first draft. So first draft, it's the rough version. It's the rough version, first or rough version, okay? Good. Before writing up the final version, your essay should be all your own work. Plagiarism. Plagiarism. Plagiarism, again, plagiarism. Using other people's work as if it was yours, okay? So if you cut and paste from the internet, if you cut and paste from the internet, okay, you are committing the worst crime ever, which is called plagiarism. سرقة الأدبية, okay? Plagiarism. Plagiarism is a very serious offense. Offense here is a crime, مخالفة, okay, very dangerous. Serious means dangerous. A very serious offense in colleges and universities. It is an increasing problem because it is so easy to cut and paste from materials available on the internet, and students have to sign a plagiarism form to say that the work they are handling or handing in, submitting, I mean, is all their own work, and that they acknowledge any sources. Acknowledge. What I mean of acknowledge? Acknowledge, give details of something. Okay. Okay. Acknowledge means give details of something. Acknowledge any sources they have used. There is usually a deadline. There is usually a deadline. What is a deadline? A date by which you must hand in the work. A date by which you must hand in, you must submit the work. After the essay is submitted, after the essay is handed in, okay, after the essay is handed in, it will be assessed. Assessed means evaluated and given a grade. If you assess something, it means you evaluate it. You evaluate it, and even sometimes you give a grade for it. Okay. After the essay is submitted, it will be assessed and usually can get feedback, means comments from your teacher. Okay, comments from your teacher on something you handed it in. Okay, comments from the teacher or tutor, from the teacher or tutor. So this is also done. Let's go to the last piece here. Aspects of higher academic study. University academics carry out research and are expected to read academic journals, which publish papers, articles on specialized subjects. If a library doesn't have a copy of a book or journal, you may be able to access it online, or you can usually get it through an interlibrary loan. Open educational resources are particularly convenient for many students. Academic study can be very demanding, and some students drop out, but the majority survive till finals and become well qualified members of their future professions. Good. So this text is about higher academic study or aspects of higher academic study. Okay. Again, let's go through the text and find about the bold words or the words in bold. University academics carry out research. Okay. Here we have less formal is do research. Both are correct. Okay. Carry out with research. Have you ever, for example, carried out a research? Okay. So this is a question for you. University academics carry out or do research and are expected to read academic journals. Academic journals, magazines with academic articles. There are magazines with academic articles. We do not use the word magazine to talk about this kind of academic publication. We don't use magazine to talk about this academic publication. We say academic journals. These academic journals publish papers, articles on specialized subjects. If a library doesn't have a copy of a book or journal, you may be able to access it online. You may be able to get it online. Okay, get hold of it, access it, to have access for it. Okay, get hold of it on the internet. Okay, or you can usually get it through an interlibrary loan, and this is a system where libraries exchange books, journals with one another. So what is an interlibrary loan? It is a system by which libraries can exchange books or journals with one another. Okay. Open educational resources. Open educational resources are particularly convenient for many students. What are open educational resources? These are online materials that can be freely used by teachers and students anywhere. So open educational resources. So all these sources on the internet, I mean online, that most of the students can have an access to, okay, are called open educational resources. So they are online materials, online resources that can be freely used by teachers and even by students anywhere. These open education resources are particularly convenient, suitable for many students. Academic study can be very demanding, okay, time consuming sometimes, okay, and some students drop out, they leave drop out, leave before the finals. Okay, if you drop out school, it means you leave school. You leave school before, you come to the end or before you graduate. Okay, so academic study can be very demanding, and some students drop out, but the majority survive till finals and become well qualified members of the future or of their future professions. Okay, here we have dropout, leave the course before the end, good, but the majority survive till finals. Finals here, last exams before the end of the college or university course, and become well qualified members of their future professions, well qualified with high or with the right formal qualifications, well qualified. Okay, if somebody is well qualified, it means he has the best qualifications. Okay, so I think we have come to the end of C. Let's go to the questions. Okay, we have two pages actually, left hand page and right hand page. In the left hand page, we have the new vocabulary, new structures, new lesson, okay, new expressions. And on the right hand page, we have the exercises that we need to do together sometimes. But in most cases, I'm going to let you, do these exercises on your own. So let's go to 1.1, correct the wrong usage of words to do with written work in these sentences. 1, his PhD assignment. So it means here we have a wrong usage of words, and what we need to do is to correct these words, okay? Based on, of course, the lesson we have just studied. Okay, so exercises, correct the wrong usage of words to do with written work in these sentences. His PhD assignment was 90,000 words long and was on the history of US place names. Here we have assignment. It should be a work from 90,000 words is a thesis, okay? And especially for master and PhD degrees, okay? If we go back here, a thesis, a very long original research-based work, perhaps 80 to 100,000 words, so it's 90, okay? 80 to 100, so we have 90, it means we are talking about a thesis, okay? So his PhD thesis was 90,000 words long and was on the history of US place names. Little Martha did her first dissertation in school today. Little Martha and dissertation? Of course, it is nonsense. It is composition. Little Martha did her first composition in school today. It was called My Family. It's a composition. If we have a look here, a composition could be just 50 to 100 words. Why? Because little Martha, she's still young. Okay. So little Martha did her first composition in school today. It was called My Family. We have to hand in an essay at the end of the course. It can consist of up to 5 different pieces of work. Because it is composed of different pieces of work, so it is a portfolio, I think. It's a portfolio. It is a portfolio. Number 4, the teacher gave us the title of this week's project today. We have to write 1,000 words on the topic of If I Ruled the World and hand it in next Monday. Okay, it's an essay here. Not a project, it's an essay. Okay, because it is 1,000 words on a topic. So the teacher gave us the title of this week's essay today. Okay. Number 5, at the end of this course, you have to do a 5,000 word thesis, which will be assessed and the grade will contribute to your final degree. Number 5 is not because you are talking about 5,000 words. It's not a thesis, of course. Thesis, it's you can say 100 words. 100,000, I mean, words. But here it's not a thesis, uh, rather it is an assignment. So at the end of this course, you have to do a 5-word assignment, which will be assessed and the grade would contribute to your final degree. I think I'll do a study of people's personal banking habits for my MSc composition. It has to be about 12,000 words. 6, of course, is a dissertation. Is a dissertation. Yes, I think it's a dissertation. I think I'll do a study of people's personal banking habits for my MSc composition, and MSc means Master of Science. It has to be about 12,000 words thesis. Okay. Dissertation, sorry. It's a dissertation, yeah. 10 to 15. So we are talking about what? We are talking about 12. So yeah, it is a dissertation. Good. I've chosen to do the portfolio instead of the 2 exams because I like to do one single piece of work. So it's one single piece of work where I can research something that interests my personality or that interests me personally. Okay. So number 7 is not a portfolio. Okay. It is not a portfolio. It is a project. It is a project. It is a project. Okay. Good. So we are done with 1.1. Let's go to 1.2. Rewrite this text using words and phrases from the opposite page instead of the underlined words. Okay, so instead of these words, we need to write the the phrases and words used in the first page. Okay, when I'm studying in a very focused way, when I'm studying intensively because I'm preparing hard for an exam, because I'm cramming, okay, for an exam, I don't see any point in looking up exam papers from previous years. What do we call exam papers from previous years? They are what? Past papers. They are past papers. So nor is there any point in just learning things by memory. What do we call it? Learning things by heart, or learning, okay, learning off by heart or without off even. Okay. I know some people develop very clever memory tricks. What are the memory tricks? Okay, memory tricks. I think mnemonics, memory tricks that help you remember something. Okay, like a word, a sentence, a poem. Okay, that make or makes you remember something. Okay, memory tricks, mnemonics. So I know some people develop very clever memory tricks, mnemonics, to help them remember the material, but there is no real substitute for uh, rereading and going over the term's work. Okay, so revising the term's work. It's a good idea to have some sort of diagram showing different ideas. It's mind map. Okay, it's a good idea to have some sort of diagram showing different ideas to organize your thoughts, and memory learning is useful. Memory learning is useful. Memory learning uh, rote learning, but in a limited way. At the end of the day, you just have to read a huge amount until you feel you know the subject 100%. To read a huge amount is bury yourself in books. Bury yourself in your books until you feel you know the subject 100%. It means until you learn the subject inside out. Until you learn the subject inside out. Good. Good. 1.3, answer the questions. What do we call the first attempt at writing something like an essay, for example? It's first draft. What word means the date by which you must do something? It is deadline. What word means using someone else's ideas as if they were yours? Plagiarism. Good. Four. What are more formal words for to hand in and for to mark? Hand in, submit. Hand in, submit. And to mark, assess. And to mark, assess. What phrasal verb do we use when someone doesn't complete their course? Drop out. Okay, drop out. What is another word for an academic article? Where can we read them? Academic article is called a paper, and we can read them in academic journals. In academic journals. Okay. Number 7. What is the name of a system for getting books from other libraries? It is called interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan. 8. What word means the comments you get back from the teacher about your work? It's the feedback. It is the feedback. What word can you use for a person who is extraordinarily intelligent? A genius. He is a genius. 10. What is a more formal way of saying do research is carry out research. It is carry out research. Okay, the last one. Choose the best word for the opposite page from the opposite page to complete these sentences. If you quote an article in an essay, you must acknowledge. You must acknowledge your resources. Okay, you must acknowledge your source. It means give details about something. Okay, giving details of author and title. So if you quote an article in an essay, you must acknowledge your source. It means you give details. You give details of the author and title. Open educational resources can be particularly useful for students who do not have easy access to a university library. So open educational resources like you can say, material from the internet, for example, which can be accessed easily by students and teachers. Number 3, how much have you done for tomorrow's math exam? For example, how much revision, we can say. How much revision have you done for tomorrow's math exam? Don't forget to sign the plagiarism form. Yes, don't forget to sign the plagiarism form and hand it in with your dissertation. Number 5, some people take a long time to find suitable work even though they are very well qualified. Good, even though they are very well qualified. Number 6 here, Orla has had a paper published in the British Medical Journal. All students need a username and password to be able to access journals online. Casper is bound to do well in his mechanics exam. He knows the subject inside out. He knows the subject inside out. Okay? Thank you very much for you and your time. Until we meet again in the next unit, inshallah. All the best. Bye bye.